Without Context.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Without Context podcast, the wrestling division that we have kind of set up here in shop with the three of us.
Those three.
The three that cover most of the wrestling stuff. And today's episode is going to be our top 10s women's wrestlers for 2022, part 2 of a 3-parter that we are working on here. If you follow the wrestling scene, you will know the news that we got yesterday. Jamin Pugh, who most of you may know as Jay Briscoe, one half of the Briscoes, passed away tragically in a car crash. He was 38, and Tony Khan and a bunch of other wrestling personalities, took to Twitter to send their love and condolences. The news that we currently have for everything is he and the other driver were killed. His daughters are in the hospital. One of them is injured but recovering. The other one, unfortunately, is going into surgery with the chance of paralysis. So it is kind of a shitty situation here. So we hope the best for their family and everything, especially his brother, Mark. I didn't look up his real name for this, but Mark Briscoe. Send everything to him. It's kind of been a shitty week for wrestling because also Kevin Nash on his podcast had some comments that made people worry about him. As we know, he lost his son about 12 weeks ago, and he doesn't seem to be taking it well. Some of the jokes he's making are kind of dark and everything, so, send some love to Kevin Nash as well. He's had a pretty rough year or two. Not only losing his son, but also Scott Hall within 2 weeks of each other, I believe. It was a very unfortunate time in wrestling right now. So we'd like to dedicate this episode and our tag team episode to the Briscoes and their family and everything. We're just a small podcast, but we still love the sport and the performers. And at 38, he's roughly our age. So
38 is 4 years older than me. That is horrifying to think about.
Yeah, it was
younger than me.
It's a tragic accident. We've had a lot of those, loving wrestling growing up. Eddie Guerrero was probably the last big one that was just a tragedy. A lot of guys, it's just more natural causes or their habits catching up to them a lot of the time. But stuff like this is just, so sudden and all that. So we didn't want to start this episode on a somber note, but it is kind of, the big news right now, and it is something that is affecting the wrestling industry as a whole.
Yeah, and just prayers and love to the Briscoes and their family, and Kevin Nash himself. Having to lose your best friend and your son within that short period of time.
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 weeks.
I can't even imagine what the hell he's going through mentally. So,
yeah.
Love and light to all of them. Love and light to the Briscoes. This has just been a tragic week for pro wrestling. It really has.
It has. It's been rough too, because I think one of NXT's lower card people, the people who are still going up in the ranks, Amari Miller, I think is her name. She announced on her TikTok, she came out and said that she had attempted suicide as well. So the wrestling industry is just kind of going through a lot right now, and we would want the best for these performers. We don't want them to go out there and legitimately hurt themselves and everything, but this industry does take its toll on people in different ways.
I will say that, and I feel like this will be the last thing we talk about before we get into the actual list.
Yeah.
Having those conversations about, hey, I attempted this. I'm still here. I'm okay. I'm in a good place, a better place now. Having those conversations via TikTok or whatever social media you want to use are important. Especially if you are out there, and normalizing that it's okay to know that these feelings exist, but not to act on them.
Yeah.
Normalizing getting that out there so that other people who may be feeling similar can see this and think, hey, they're just not to harp on the parasocial relationship thing, but just normalize that those feelings are normal, they are valid, and to seek help if you need it.
Yeah, you got to normalize the conversation.
Yeah, don't be afraid to open up, man.
Yeah.
Because holding that stuff in is just not good for anybody these days, especially in the time we live in. So, if you need help, seek it.
Yeah. So with that being said, and our wishes sent to the various wrestlers and their families and everything of what has been a hell of a week for the industry. Let's move on to some brighter terms and go on to part 2, where we talk about our favorite women's wrestlers of last year.
Yes.
I think we're going to have very similar lists with a few things here and there, but I definitely think it's been a very solid year for women's wrestling in 2022.
It has been an improvement, I think.
It's been an improvement.
It isn't perfect. Like, there's still Dynamite only has, one women's match a show, for example.
Yeah.
But it's definitely an improvement.
Yeah, in terms of quality too, I think it's just been like a general improvement as well. Like
match
we're just
quality's
seeing,
definitely gone up.
We're seeing a lot of improvement from wrestlers in WWE. We're seeing, better chemistry in AEW with certain matchups. People on my list, my number 10, Jade Cargill, she's improved a lot over her title reign from when she first started. At least in ring, she's definitely shown some improvements. So she's actually putting into work to, to be that champion that they are really booking her to be. And I don't know where this road ends. Honestly, like
I respect the hell out of her, because honestly, she could have just stayed, mid, or even less than mid. Like, she could have just stayed like that, cut like, mid-league promos, and still probably been booked the same way. But she chose to improve.
Yeah.
And I respect that. I do not have Jade Cargill on my list, though.
I had her at number 10 also. So I guess we can just hop right into this. And another thing too, that as well as what Dallas said, Jade Cargill kind of does something that some of the other women, I think, in AEW are still kind of developing at. She has charisma and stage presence. She's nailed that to perfection.
She has a presence.
She has the presence. She has the charisma to pretty much overcome some of the things that she's, improving on over time. Everybody, and and I get it. People always like, she can't wrestle that much, and her promos are kind of average, and it's about the same. But it's like, listen, she's been in the business 2 years. Okay, there's always room for improvement with her, and she acts, and like Dallas stated, she is putting in the work. As a matter of fact, she has gone to Bryan Danielson, for advice and things to do, to improve on her in-ring skills. So
yeah, she's sought that improvement. She's gone to probably one of the best technical wrestlers of this generation too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, hey, how can I, do some of this stuff better? I mean, she's going for help, which is something that also a lot of people don't want to do because of ego. It's like, hey, I got here because of my talents. Now I'm here is because they picked me up for me. And everybody thinks that they can stay the same. But I mean, you have to improve.
I've harped on this a lot about wrestling in general. You can teach someone how to do a headlock. You can't teach somebody
to do a headlock well.
To do that. No. You can teach someone to do a headlock well. You can't teach somebody when to do the headlock and when to how to accentuate it and make it the most important headlock in the world.
Yeah.
So like y'all said about having a presence, she definitely has that in spades. I didn't have her on my list because I still think she's kind of novice, but I do respect her going into the getting the work done or getting the work in.
It's hard work and dedication, man. I mean, you can't argue with that.
You also have to solidify your place in this business. Like if you don't improve, nobody's going to want to, pick you up when a contract's up for renewal or when you're released from a company. It's like, why would we want them? They just do the same thing. They've shown no signs of wanting to get better. She
started in AEW, right? Like she's a homegrown talent.
Yeah, I think she's a straight homegrown AEW talent.
Cannot get more homegrown than that.
Nope.
People can call, for example, I'd say Jon Moxley homegrown because he started, but No, she's day one AEW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was your number 10, Deca?
Well, I want to jump back a little bit because I actually had an honorable mention.
Sure.
I had Sarah Logan as an honorable mention. Sarah Logan, not single-handedly, but kind of interested me back in the Viking Raiders. And I think that in itself is remarkable enough that I put her as an honorable mention. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I couldn't give a fuck about the Viking Raiders.
Once they left NXT, I just stopped caring about them. Like
exactly.
That's the Vince effect.
Yeah, because they got to the main roster and they just had them doing weird shit with the Viking Raiders.
The Viking experience.
Yeah.
They changed the name like twice.
That stuck in my craw for a while. And but I don't even think they're doing anything different. But having Sarah Logan there to like, cheer them on as they're doing it, having that manager to actually talk for them, or at the very least the valet type situation to come in and like sound the horn, as it were. I think that's remarkable enough to warrant an honorable mention. She hasn't been in a match as far as I know yet.
I don't think so.
But
she's just been in a managerial role.
Yeah, and I'm all for that. If she just wants to be a manager for the Viking Raiders, you do you, boo boo.
It's just a stark contrast too, because like she can get, in her role as manager, she can get you hyped for a tag team that people have kind of forgotten about. But then you have a manager like Scarlett who's perfect, but we just don't care about Cross. Like it's just, yeah, it's like Cross has the best manager in WWE and just nobody cares about him as a wrestler.
It works both ways.
It does.
It really does. But my number 10 was Alexa Bliss.
Okay.
She showed up like halfway through the year, I believe.
Yeah, she came back to like the prominence about halfway through the year.
Yeah, and she's kind of floated around here and there. 2-time tag team champion at this point, just in that time.
I think
with
so.
Asuka.
Yeah, it was her and Asuka had one, and
her and Nikki
Cross. Her Nikki Cross was before she left.
That was like last.
That was last year.
And then she's been in the program she's kind of been involved in programs with Damage Control, and now she's in a program against Bianca.
That kind of started before the new year, so I'm going to count it.
Yeah. But pulling her back to the Bray story.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
They're a good pairing.
They're a good pairing. I've seen her in interviews where she's just talking about how much of a creative like Bray is, and what the processes he does to like have a good character have inspired her to like work on her own character work.
Yeah,
and I think that's remarkable, and I like that she has those conversations, because again, the way that we used to see women's wrestling is that it just used to be, they could have just like flopped around for 5 minutes and that was that. But they are genuinely looking for ways to improve, and good for them.
Yeah,
I think we've come a long way from the 15-minute bra and panty matches of back in the day.
It's been a weird dynamic because like it was like the house show matches back in like the 90s, and then like when the Attitude Era started, it was like here's the bra and panties, the like mud matches and everything, and then it's like throughout the Ruthless Aggression before AJ Lee came on and kind of sparked that whole revolution, everything, it was like here's the 5-minute match that people jokingly called the bathroom match, where you're like, okay, I'm gonna go use the bathroom and then I'll be back.
Yeah,
and it's just like, it just shown like there's just this incredible like stark difference between those time frames now, especially with like the quality of women performers that places like AEW and WWE have picked up over the last few years.
Yeah,
I mean, they got Io Shirai in a stable, like serving as second fiddle, and I'm like, just make her a solo star, man. Like, I went back, I watched the shit that she did in Lucha Underground. It was her,
it was her, Coyote, and
it was
Mayu Iwatani.
Yeah, it was the three of them as like a faction beating up Penta. They had matches against Penta. And I was like,
I think
where's this? like
the best thing I remember from that episode was when she got on top of Dario's office and she did like that moonsault from off the office on the Penta.
Yeah.
And like everybody just went crazy over that because he was like the first woman to do that in the entirety of Lucha Underground.
She had to
By the
one
way, I really do miss that show.
I mean, they're kind of bringing it shit back. Like we got on the dark match, we got Cage versus Willie Mack again, and I'm like,
it was a really good match too. I watched it. It was so
I have
good.
to go back and watch that. Honestly.
Big guys should not move like that. like
it's
that's
unnatural.
That's the thing about Willie Mack. I'm like, this guy's huge and he moves like this. Like it's ridiculous.
I will say we said that about Keith Lee, and well, that caught up to him pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I'm liking I can't wait to see Keith Lee come back too, because they kind of did the cinder block spot with him too.
Yeah.
Right.
But yes,
Anyway.
I have a thing. We'll get back to Alexa Bliss on my list later. She's a little higher than Deca's here. Let's move on to you had Jade as well for number 10, and right, X?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll move on to number 9. I had Julia Hart. She's another good rookie that AEW has developed into a great like manager role. I know she's being trained by Dustin Rhodes, so the improvement is there, and it is seen whenever she does have a match on Dark. They've been far and few between, I think, but everything she's doing in terms of character work for House of Black is fantastic. They've really...
Good.
What was that?
Whose promo was that? Was that really? I don't think it wasn't Julia Hart. It was one of the other ones, and I think that's the problem I have with. We'll get to that tangent in a sec. When you made your point, but who's the one that had the promo? Was like, you know me, you don't know me, you don't know me.
That was Marina Shafir.
Was it?
I believe. Yeah.
She's really waiting for Roderick Strong to get out of NXT. Like, she's like,
that was awful. Was it?
Marina Shafir is in such a weird spot because like they were booking her as a monster in NXT when she was there, but then it's like afterwards it just seems like everything about her got exposed, like her inability to wrestle, her inability to cut promos. It's like, God, she really does need like somebody carrying her through these matches.
Oh, that was her. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was. I do not have Marina Shafir on my list.
I don't either.
I
forget she wrestles for AW sometimes. Like,
but yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Continue. But Julia Hart's like it did a character change from the cheerleader in Varsity Blondes, who are still a great tag team. I want Griff Garrison to get back from injury so they can become a thing again.
That's what happened. I was just about to ask.
No, I got confused. I was like, what happened to Varsity Blondes? Because I've seen Brian Pillman Jr. around every now and then. Griff Garrison had to go under for surgery, so he's been out of it.
And I noticed, and let me stop you right there for a second. And I noticed something on AEW lately that they changed the Varsity Blondes name to just the Blondes because they have like another varsity group in there now.
Yeah, the varsity athletes. Because I think Smart Mark Sterling stole the name.
Yeah, Smart Mark Sterling legally acquired the name.
Yeah, it's a great little like mid-card joke that's going on. Yeah. I love the little like things that just Mark Sterling gets into in the mid-card. He's like that great connecting force for like the mid-card of AEW. Him and Stokely, like they can just set up a bunch of feuds because they're just there meandering around.
Oh, you raggedy bitch!
One-liners, man.
You raggedy bitch.
But yeah, Julia Hart, like that character change from cheerleader to like witch and everything, and she's done it so well. And it's just I think having Malachi Black and Brody King with her are definitely like giving her pointers and everything to help the character work, because those two guys are like character wrestlers and the creative types as well. So I think she's still relatively young. I think she's 23, 24. So like she's got years ahead of her with this, and I can only see improvements considering how fast the improvement's been for her over the last year or so. Mm-hmm. Who do you got for number 9 there, Deca?
I have Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose had such a great year. She literally went to NXT to reinvent herself. She did it, And then what happens? She gets booted for some bullshit.
Shit that Vince would have promoted her for if he was still there.
I think I'm
No,
gonna go into
he-
that because I had her a little higher on my list. I'll go into that a little more,
Yeah.
a little bit later.
Yeah, I think no. You say that. I think Vince would have said, no, unless you're doing it for WWE.
That's fair.
I think that's Vince. I think that's the Vince move.
She was making money on her. She was making more money on her personal thing, and that's what they did not appreciate.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's like that with like when a lot of them were doing Twitch streams.
Yeah. Just
Or
get with
shit.
just get with the fucking times, guys. You're
That's what I'm saying.
they're contractors. They can make money elsewhere. They're not your
They're not-
employees.
I mean,
they're
they
not
had a
contractors
uproar
though.
over
They're treating
Cameo.
them like employees without giving the benefits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had like an uproar over Cameo a while back too, which was, they resolved.
They
it.
were pushing Cameo.
They were pushing, until they said no, we don't want you doing that. We're not making money off of it.
Old man yells at cloud.
Yeah. Mandy Rose had I think a whole character renaissance in 2022. And all of the great matches she had in NXT. Even just her promo work improved. She was having promos and her promo work improved. It's wild how that happens when you start doing the thing and you get better at it over time.
Right.
But yeah, she was solidly number 9 for me. Probably docked a few points, not for anything under her control, but just the unceremonious way she was booted.
Yeah, on losing title on a Wednesday night and then being released from the company.
Yeah,
Just like
kind of
all that shit,
fucked.
all that shit she did, and they just did her dirty like that.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Who you got, X?
I had Willow Nightingale number 9.
Mhm.
See, the thing is with Willow Nightingale, oftentimes when they have women doing the smiley, happy, happy-go-lucky gimmick, it's rather annoying. It really is. I'm not gonna lie. Kylie Ray to no end. She did it. She did that gimmick and it ran its course really fast. I think Willow Nightingale just pulls it off. She does that thing so well.
A great
then
baby
she's
face.
just she's a great baby face, and then she's just super tough at the same time. Which that's a hard mix to blend right there.
Yeah.
It's like making a fucking chocolate brownie, chocolate chip brownie cake. You know what I'm saying? So she just does that shit so well, and it comes off so natural with her. And on top of that, she just goes in there and just has bangers of matches. Kind of like the one we seen most recently on AEW Dynamite with Willow Knight with Ruby Soho. Excuse me, but anyway, she's just and I'm glad they signed her. She was a really good pickup. She was a much needed add to that division.
Yeah. And I mean, it's something that this year, but there is reason to criticize her for the table spot off the stage. She did kind of overshoot it, and Anna completely missed the fucking table coming down.
Yeah, but at the
But
same
if you
time,
look at it, she did not just release her. She waited until she went through the table and then put Anna down. There is still some safety behind it too for what it was.
I've seen Bubba Ray Dudley do that spot a lot during the Attitude Era in WWE, and that's pretty much how he does it. He literally plants his ass through the table, and they go, and the other person goes on the ground.
Yeah, another way is to go off and go to the side so you both go through.
Right.
But the way I saw it, it doesn't look like Anna came down with full force onto the concrete. There did look like there was some safety there. So I understand the criticism. I mean, she is still new. This was probably the first time she's done a spot like that. And it was like, why don't you practice spots? Do you want to practice that spot? Do you want to do that multiple times before having to go out and do it in front of somebody? That's only increasing the risk of, some fucking injury.
That's absolutely one take at most.
Yeah. And I mean, Anna's fine. It was a tape thing and there wasn't any announcement of injury. So it's everything worked out. I mean, it did look a little rough, but
really no harm, no foul.
Also kind of showing just Anna's fucking tough if she can take that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, Yeah, Willow's on my list much higher than that. So we'll round back around to that. But yeah, you're right. She is a great pickup for AEW. And I think she too is relatively young, maybe mid to late 20s.
Something like that, yeah.
And yeah, just like a great like presence as like a baby face. Like the crowd always seems to be behind her too. Even the losses, she looks tough. She looks tough in losses too, so it's definitely not something that's detrimental to her. Especially if you have time to build her up and everything.
I mean, the best thing about the key to building baby faces is to have them be actually likable, and that's the best thing about Willow Nightingale. Willow Nightingale, she's really likable, so
Yeah.
it works.
Moving on to number 8, I think number 8. Yep. I have.
Oh,
what's up?
No, I forgot where we were for a sec. Like
yeah.
in the numbers.
Yeah, I was noticing a shit ton of like frame drops. I didn't know if I was breaking up or not.
No, you're good.
Number 8, I have Sheeta. She didn't really do a lot last year. The whole title picture scene was kind of, Tony Storm, Jamie Hayter, Britt Baker. So she kind of took a backseat to that. But in recent weeks, she started making a comeback and is getting put back into that world title picture. Where honestly she belongs. Like, even if she's never with the title, she should always be involved in the title scene. The crowd loves her. Like, she is one of AEW's like original, not homegrown talents, but she was there and people took to her instantly as a performer. And she's just fucking awesome in the ring.
Yeah, she's mostly my honorable mention as well, because from the kind of year that she had before she dropped the title to Britt Baker, she was pretty much single-handedly carrying that women's division at the time. Pretty much at the time where, there were no fans because of the pandemic, she was pretty much a bright spot on AEW television every week. And yeah, she kind of took a back seat to when Jamie Hayter, Tony Storm, and Britt Baker all had their moment. But overall, she has still been pretty strong, on television. And yeah, she's wrestled a few matches on Dark, but I mean, she's just been there, and she's a reliable performer. And and most recently, that match with Jamie Hayter was probably one of the best AEW's women's matches I've seen since the company started. So,
and when
top 5.
When you get a British wrestler and a Japanese wrestler together, they're going to beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah,
like
that's right.
That's what they were trained to do.
The magnetic force between the two of them, and it ends when one of them throws a chop.
Yeah.
Because that's how they wrestle over there.
That's how they beat the fuck out of each other. That's how it works.
The living shit out of each other, and I love it.
Yeah. Who you got for number 8?
I have Miriam. Michin.
Yeah.
Again, another one that showed up towards the end of the year, so weighed against that. But immediately jumped in with AJ Styles and the Good Brothers. What's up with them? I haven't seen them in a hot minute. Are they injured?
AJ's injured.
AJ's injured. Where are the Good Brothers?
The Good Brothers, I think, are backburnered with AJ being injured.
Gotcha. That's unfortunate.
That's probably why Mia. I think this week Mia got beaten because they're not in the full picture right now.
Well, that's fine. They're putting her out there, and while they're relegating the Good Brothers kind of speaks for itself,
Yeah.
And after having a tumultuous previous year or so with her and Keith Lee, contracting COVID, and then having to deal with all of the COVID symptoms from that, and getting fired while having COVID, if the reports are true.
Yep. The wave of releases that came out last year.
Yeah. After doing all of that, just coming back into it, she had that one appearance. Did she have an appearance in AEW?
No, she went to Impact.
She went to Impact. That's what it was.
She went to Impact for about 6 or 7 months, and then went back to WWE.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah, just having getting back up and getting back on the horse, as it were.
Yeah.
And showing that tenacity gave me a lot of respect for her.
Yeah, and it does kind of suck that their group kind of took a backseat, but I think it was at a house show. AJ broke his ankle, so he's been shelved for a while, which means plans for the Good Brothers probably shelved while Judgment Day moves on to the Usos now. Who do you got for number 8X?
I had Kyrie at number 8. When she left WWE, I think it was 2021, I believe.
Yeah.
She went back to Japan, and I thought she was just gonna retire. You know, I guess she was at that point where in her career where she just wanted to move on and wanted to kind of settle down a little bit and wrestle less. But you know, she comes back to Japan and just goes on this run. She goes back to Stardom, faces a lot of the top talent there, like Mayu Iwatani and such, and just has these banger matches. They announced this IWGP tournament for the women's title, and she just goes through everybody and wins it. You know, having stellar, fantastic matches along the way. That's something to respect. You know, it just shows you that Coyote is still resilient, and she can still be a top level performer wherever she goes. And that's probably why they entrusted her with building up the women's division in the IWGP or in the IWGP world title picture in New Japan. And now we got Mercedes Moné coming in, and next month they're probably just gonna have a banger of a match like they did with WWE a couple years ago.
They're gonna beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, I will.
Just like they did.
I will say it's a shame that Mercedes' attack didn't go quite as planned.
Yeah, her new finisher.
I definitely
get up the nerves.
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely saw where they were going with that, but it's you know, it's the one take aspect of
wrestling.
A live television event.
Yeah.
But Kyrie has just had a stellar year, you know, away from WWE, and then she's the current IWGP Women's World Champion.
The first.
Okay, so the first one. So New Japan obviously trusts her to put on these fantastic matches. And that's exactly what she's doing.
I mean, that's the thing, like, bring back to the Lucha Underground thing, like her, Io, and Mayu, like, they were just, like, the top 3 Stardom performers for, like, the longest period of time. And they were the ones going to other promotions. They were the ones, you know, traveling the world and everything and getting that exposure. And, you know, Kyrie going to WWE and getting that exposure, and then being, like, the tag team champs with Asuka.
And the NXT champion, she beat Shayna Baszler for that title.
Yeah, and then it's just like, hey, we're going to go back to Japan with all this, you know, new eyes on me and everything. Let's bring these new eyes to Stardom and New Japan and all that.
You won that Mae Young tournament, right?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
I think they put like they put like all of their baskets into Kairi Sane.
They put all
and now she's back to being
and then they
violent.
released her.
Yeah, and now she's back to being violent little Kairi Hojo. So,
I have Kairi at number 7.
Cool. Yeah, so we went to number 7 then. I had Sky Blue, kind of a middle of the list thing. Great rookie year, from what I've seen. I mean, she's called in to, you know, entertain the crowd. She has a great connection to the crowd. You know, when she comes in, she's probably going to lose the match unless it's like a dark match or something. But I mean, she's young too. Like, I think she's like 22, 23. And I mean, she's already showing like a great level of wrestling ability. So I can only see where this career is going to go. I don't know if she's signed with AEW. I know she's been working under like a weird contract with them.
Oh, she's signed with AEW, I think.
And I know some time ago I was reading that she was being worked by a like per appearance pay.
Oh, okay.
Or something. I don't remember it exactly, but yeah, I mean, she's a fixture in AEW as like another one of those like happy babyface wrestlers, but like the crowd loves her, and I can only hope that, you know, she improves more and gets more screen time. I would love to see where that career goes. And then we got Deca with Kairi.
I've got Kairi, yeah, much for many of the same reasons as you guys mentioned. Like, for many wrestlers, what they do is they get released from WWE, their dream job, and it's such a gut punch to them that they just go back to no shade against like look your local indies, but let's face it, it's not the WWE, it's not New Japan, it's not even Impact or like anything like that. It's just the bingo halls, as it were. And for Kyrie to not only she gets released because she wanted to be with her family. It's okay, Kyrie, your secret's safe with me. And takes some time off and then just puts on banger after banger after banger in New Japan, and Stardom is just. I am definitely also looking forward to Kyrie Mercedes Moné.
I can only imagine the war that they're going to have with each other, especially fucking Unleashed outside of WWE like rules and everything.
And it's in San Jose too, so American crowd.
San Jose crowd. San Jose crowd.
It's gonna be a hot crowd. I'm so excited.
That's what it's gonna do.
What? We'll get to X's number 7. I actually want to see what that card is. So.
Yeah, pull it up.
Yeah, so we'll get to you good with your 7 there?
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, what do you have X for number 7?
Mandy Rose at number 7 for a lot of reasons y'all talked about earlier. Again, it's more of a charisma and stage presence thing with Mandy Rose. Yeah, she's improved a lot in the ring. Okay, she actually had some really, really decent matches this year, especially that one she had with that triple threat with Blair Davenport and what was it, Mako Satomura to unify the titles. That was really amazing. Okay, and then she had a really banger of a match with Alba Fire as well. But Mandy Rose's character work improved leaps and bounds from when she was blonde Mandy Rose. Okay, and floundering on the main roster. They finally found a direction for her, and she ran in that direction with it. Okay, she formed Toxic Attraction. They pushed them as, I would say, sex symbols. To get the teen, I guess to get the 18 to 34s riled up.
Yeah,
I liked that though, because it wasn't doing it strictly, and she's not like going like this to the crowd,
No,
it's just
really
it's subtle, and it's like I'm hot and you're not.
it's Attitude Era light.
Yeah, well, Attitude Era light, but it's also
Somewhat.
it's that you want to be with me, but you can't be with me type of situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I found the Battle in the Valley 2023. And this card looks fucking stacked, honestly. Yeah, we got the Kyrie versus Mercedes match, which is going to be a fucking banger. We got Kazuchika Okada or Shingo Takagi versus to be determined. I guess it's whoever wins the IGP World Heavyweight match, or not.
That would probably be Kazuchika Okada and Shingo.
Okay, I don't know if that was it. Eddie Kingston versus Jay White, which is just going to be two guys beating the shit out of each other.
Yep, yet again.
However long. Tom Lawler versus Homicide.
That's gonna be good.
Bobby
Homicide in a minute.
Yeah, Bobby Fish
Tom Lawler's
versus
decent.
David Finlay versus Bobby Fish is just going to be a good old fashioned like beat down too, especially Fit Finley's son.
Yeah.
Thing like it looks like a great fucking card right now. Yeah, it's exciting. I love Eddie Kingston, like I said, and just him versus Jay White, especially with that build on a Rumble on 44th Street earlier last year too, or last year also has a good like lead up to that. So, good card. So
Yeah, and another thing too, before we move on, it's just kind of funny to me that WWE pushes, Mandy with Toxic Attraction as a sex symbol it's like a sex symbol group for most of the year, and then fires Mandy Rose for profiting off the shit they built her up as, which is mind-boggling to me. But I still put her on this list. She did a fantastic job this year.
Yeah,
like I said, character renaissance.
Yeah. And they're trying to keep the Toxic Attraction going, like Gigi and the other girl, I can't remember her name.
And if they want to add somebody else to their group, there's so many possibilities and directions they can go with you reforming Toxic Attraction.
Yeah, but I mean they've been doing good. Like they had them both win the battle royale or something, and then it's like they had the match against Roxanne Perez and all that. So they're trying to keep them like relevant, but I just don't know if it'll have that same appeal without, you know, Mandy, the admittedly the bigger of the 3 stars.
By a long shot.
So don't want anybody to like to be stuck in like a weird spot, but I don't think they'll have the same impact that they've had the last few months. Going to 6, I had Mandy Rose, same reason that you guys had. Great year rebuilding herself. Let's take that energy from Mandy Rose and wherever she goes next, and just like keep this going. Like take books from the Chris Jericho book of reinventing herself, you know? Like she's proven that she can do it. She just needs that right, you know, character idea.
You might be one of the last ones in the no compete era. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, she could also be the last no compete release, with everything going on with the Federal Trade Commission wanting to get rid of non-compete clauses. Which would change wrestling in every fucking way, because that means it's like
you job out on Monday, you show up on Dark on Tuesday.
Are we really going to fire this guy on a Sunday night? Or are we really going to fire this guy on a Tuesday night or Wednesday morning to have him show up at AEW the same day?
Right.
That's like Lex Luger to WCW levels of,
that's like,
you know,
Jeff
bullshit.
Jarrett level of fucking jumping ship.
Yeah.
Like losing the Intercontinental title and then just popping up on Nitro the very next night.
Yeah.
Taped wrestling led to some weird shit at sometimes, because it'd be like, hey, he debuts for WCW. His last match is that Saturday for WWF because of the taped schedule.
Remember side tangent, sorry. That one thing where Mankind won the WWF Championship,
and they told him that Tony Schiavone told him that they won, and they lost the ratings and viewers that night because everybody wanted Mankind to win.
Tony Schiavone cost WCW like 500,000 viewers.
Oh my god!
Was the funniest shit I think I have ever seen.
I'm like, Tony, what are you doing?
Because I was watching Nitro when that happened. It was like, oh, word?
Oh, word?
Click.
It's just like, what the fuck?
Like,
oh man,
you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Ever.
Who do you got for 6, Deca?
I have Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, I have her a little higher.
Rhea Ripley just made just like all the shit she's doing with Dominic Mysterio, all the like I'm your mommy, you know, yeah. the fucking mock Eddie Guerrero shirt, like holy shit.
And I mean,
it's
I know
really good.
And we're not applying this year's stuff, but I mean, I want to see her versus Solo after what happened on Monday. Like, I want to see that shit.
Where she was like this. She was like this. That was so good.
I love Solo Sikoa right now. I love his character work. He just seems like this, you know, monster heel who just does not give a shit about anything. Okay, he's a hardened badass and he'll do anything.
Yeah.
Okay, for the bloodline.
Yeah, Rhea is like, she is big China vibes. You know, like I can see her being the wrestler that WWE decides we're gonna have an intergender match.
Yes.
And it's like, we're gonna do it with Rhea because she's the only one where it's going to be fucking believable.
I mean, she could win the United States title and it'd be believable.
I want to see Rhea crush Theory and take the title.
She's already body slammed. She has already body slammed Theory, hasn't she?
No, she's body slammed Doc Gallows.
That's what it was.
It was like 150 pounds heavier than Austin Theory.
And it's fucking great too, because his size and everything, she made it look so fucking easy. She's great.
Joining up with Edge was probably the best decision that she could have made in her career to start the Judgment Day.
Yeah, and I mean, she's still the best part of Judgment Day right now.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't see a lot of like. She is definitely the one that like draws the attention in the Judgment Day. Like, what the fuck is Finn? Like, Finn Balor is not doing much. He's having great matches, don't get me wrong, but he's not doing a whole lot.
Yeah.
And Damian Priest is I think he has the best promo work of the men. But he's still kind of just there compared to Rhea Ripley.
They're doing tag team wrestling. Yeah. They're doing tag team, and it's always the victories with the interference. It's like that's just kind of their role right now. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be interesting, at least in terms of us talking about it at this time frame, to see how the usual Uso interference goes with the usual Judgment Day interference.
Going to be very interesting.
It'll also be very interesting to see what they have, in store for Rhea Ripley. Also, the Bloodline. I mean,
yeah.
All right, Solo Sikoa just gonna knock her in the face. We'll see next Saturday. Not Saturday after next.
Yeah. All right. X, who you got for 6?
I got Toni Storm at number 6. Like I said, I think a lot of what happened with Toni Storm in 2022 was overshadowed by Thunder Rosa's injury, with her as being, the interim AEW Women's World Champion, and I'm kind of glad that they've dropped the interim title stuff now because it was just pointless.
They officially declared her as a women's champion, not an interim champion.
And rightfully so, because Toni Storm stepped in at a time where there was a little bit of uncertainty with the women's championship, and she just put on great matches. Okay. Yeah. She put forth so much effort for her to just lose to Jamie Hayter. And which that was a banger of a match also. I'm not even mad about that, honestly, because
and there was history. There was history to it too. Like,
so they built it up really nice. And I just think the whole thing was it was a bit of a disservice to Toni Storm, to have her as interim champion or have that title around her. So I'm glad they try and change her to being an AEW Women's World Champion because that just wasn't fair to her. She got a really, really, bad rap because of that. She got a bad look at the draw.
And I'm hoping Thunder Rosa comes back, and I'm hoping that is not with any kind of drama, because there's been reports of like the locker room like just not agreeing with Thunder Rosa in a lot of ways. And I would love for her to come back and get a more official Thunder Rosa Toni Storm feud centered around that like championship period.
Right.
But there's I can think of remember reading like Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker just don't like each other. Like legitimately, like they do not care for one another.
It just sounds like they hate each other.
That's
like,
fine as long as
just hate.
Yeah, that's fine as long as they can make it work in the ring and not try to kill each other.
That's the thing. It's like it's not in the ring. It's like backstage. Like it's been issues like backstage and everything too. So there's a whole thing of like Thunder Rosa doesn't even dress in the same dressing room as the rest of the female performers anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like come back, cut the drama. AEW does not need any more drama after 2022. Just put on banger matches, because Thunder Rosa is a great fucking wrestler, and I want to keep seeing her.
Exactly.
But
I had Thunder Rosa on this list because but I made those last minute changes and I had to knock someone out and everyone else was active on the roster.
Yeah.
In 2022, which made me sad because I like Thunder Rosa a lot.
Yeah. Moving to number 5, I've had Alexa Bliss for all the reasons that we mentioned before. Mm-hmm. She's great coming back into form. She had title runs last year. Late in the year, she started getting into the main event scene again with Bianca Belair, as allies. And now recently she's turning back to the Bray side and embracing that darker character that people loved. And I mean, she's just a great performer, and she's definitely going to be one of WWE's like most popular, like homegrown talents, because I think, she did not wrestle prior to the Performance Center. I think she was cheerleader and everything.
Like, she was
like athletics,
a fitness competitor or something.
Fitness competitor, yeah. So she's 100% WWE talent, and I mean she's a guaranteed Hall of Famer at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's nice to see her back in the title picture again.
Yeah.
It's weird to talk about her as like a future Hall of Fame, like a shoe-in Hall of Fame. She's still pretty young.
Yeah, she's like
She's like 31.
Yeah, she's like a little bit younger than us, I think. So,
But,
Mhm.
but given the body of work Alexa Bliss has had, just go back a little bit. She's been what, a 5-time women's champion, 4 or 5 times. She's won the Raw women's title a few times, the SmackDown women's title a few times. And she came from NXT where she was just, she was just mostly a manager to Buddy Murphy and Wesley Blake.
in a weird coincidence, she was a manager to Buddy Murphy as a cheerleader, like Julia Hart was a cheerleader who is now a manager to Buddy Murphy. Like, it's really weird.
And they both have supernatural gimmicks now.
Yeah, they do. Oh my God, there's so many parallels between them two. Buddy Murphy is like a conduit between these women.
Yeah, it's just like it's like a weird connection there, but
Buddy Murphy's awesome, man. I just want to just point that out.
Cool.
We still haven't gotten Murphy versus Omega. They still haven't given it to us.
They gave us Murphy versus Pac, which is pretty much about the same. Pretty much damn near about the same because they both have similar styles.
They beat the shit out of each other in that match.
I want another one. I want another Buddy versus Pac match.
People slept on Buddy. WWE slept on Buddy. They really did.
Everybody slept on Buddy, man. That dude needs to be pushed a lot more.
Yeah.
But anyway,
women's wrestlers.
So, yeah, 5. Deca, who you got?
Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
Good choice.
Yeah, I think you have to give it to her because of just the sheer dominance she had over time, and then eventually dropping the belt. Yes, but like in that time of they were really creative with having her drop the belt to a babyface, and then Jamie Hayter eventually getting the title.
Yeah.
And yeah, it took a few steps, but they got there, and I think they really wanted it on Jamie Hayter. While Britt Baker had it, so they had to go transitional champion. There you go.
Yeah, and I mean, we're still waiting for that obvious feud between the two of them that is going to happen one day. Like, I know the thing with AEW we have to remember is that it's a slow burn. Like, they're going to lay a lot of they're going to tease it a lot, and then at the right moment, they're going to pull the trigger.
Normally right before a big pay-per-view.
Normally the right moment.
Most of the time.
Normally, like at the pay-per-view or sometime before, and then it gets involved in the match, and then the next pay-per-view is when the payoff's going to be. But they've had all these teases. They've had all these teases with Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, and I'm like, I need it.
Rebel.
And Rebel, I'm like, I need it. I just need to see these two just wrestle each other. Like, it's just one of those things now. It's like, give it to me, Tony. Like,
we need it.
But
because that's the next big money match right there.
Yeah, it is.
And it's coming.
The thing is, like, I think that's just shows more of just the foundational difference between these companies. Tony knows we want Britt Baker versus Jamie Hayter. So he's building it up and he's teasing it and he's gonna wait for that moment where the powder keg is there and ready to go. If this was WWE, it would happen on a Monday, and then they'd have 12 matches through 4 pay-per-views.
And several house shows.
And then it's like, we're done. It's like, we're done with this feud. Like, just move on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, that's just like one of those fundamental differences. The anticipation makes it so much better. I think that's why the top of my list is pretty much AEW wrestlers, because the payoff's just better for a lot of their performances. Right, number 5. You have anything else to throw on there for Britt Baker?
I think she was just a great talent. One of those people one of those like aces.
Yeah.
In the women's division for sure.
When you need something done, call Britt Baker.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I think some of the other women that you guys have listed, and some of us have listed in AEW and WWE are getting to that level.
Yeah.
But Britt Baker is there.
She is the women's division. Like her people that she's been feuding with, and Sheeta, Tony, like they're like the big 3 of the women's division. But it's like, it's always going to be Britt Baker, and hopefully it's not always Britt Baker in the way that it's always Charlotte Flair. Like, that's the only thing I'm afraid of.
Look, if Tony Khan buys WWE, I want that match, but I want Britt Baker to go into business for herself and just go like this the whole time.
Yeah, just oh man,
just throw a couple potatoes. It's okay.
See, here's the thing. That's for the people who don't know. There is the report that the Khan family is along the list of buyers for WWE. And I can only hope that Tony Khan gets the full sandbox. Like,
Absolutely shocked the hell out of me when I heard that. Because I'm like, wait, these guys were in the pool to buy this fucking company. So
monopolies are bad.
However, when the potential monopoly is also working with other promotions instead of its own island.
Yes,
right.
that's fine.
It's a little more relief to it.
It's a little easier to swallow.
Yeah. X, who you got for 5?
I'm gonna go NXT with this route. Roxanne Perez.
Great year. Great rookie year.
Okay. See, the thing is, I can't necessarily call Roxanne Perez. I mean, she's a rookie in WWE, obviously, because she just got there. But
she was like Elena Black or something, I think. Or she did some dark.
She was Roxy in Ring of Honor. Okay, because the thing was, she started out the year as the first ever Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. Because I guess they changed it. Because I think the Ring of Honor Women's title used to be called the Women of Honor Championship, but I guess they changed it at some point. So they held this big tournament, and I watched some of it. She was one of the standouts in that tournament. Okay. And she's just really, really good in the ring. All right. Promo work, man, whatever. She'll get better at that in NXT and WWE in general. But when she got to WWE, they pretty much threw her in the deep end and strapped the rocket to her. Okay. She was just having these she was just having these big matches out of nowhere. And I'm like, okay, I see why they're getting behind her because she's really good. But I think what stuck it home for me was when she was in this feud with Cora Jade, and they put her on SmackDown because she had to go find somebody to beat Cora Jade's ass.
Oh yeah, she dominated the performance. Like one match, and they were like, "We're good." Put everything on her.
Right. Well, they put her with, I think, was Raquel Rodriguez and Shotzi against Damage Control. And she looked like she had been on the SmackDown roster for like 5 years. So I'm like, where the hell did they get this girl from? I mean, everybody's just probably thinking, where the hell did they get this girl from? I'm like, well, she was that good in Ring of Honor, and she just kind of didn't lose a step when she got in the NXT. And now she's the NXT Women's Champion, and she's just putting on all these great matches. And I'm like, see, I don't think she's going to be down there too much longer. Okay, because she is probably going to be on the roster at some point this year.
Yeah.
The term breakout performance comes to mind when you just see how natural like Roxanne Perez looks when in the match. And just like you said, in on SmackDown, like she's been there for, half a decade.
And on top of that, she's only 21. Okay.
I'm mad that some people are so naturally talented. And I'm not.
Yeah, she's 21 years old and that naturally talented. Okay, the GameCube is as old as she is. Okay, yeah, she was born.
First of all, fuck you. Second of all, I don't think it's another one of those things that I'm gonna keep harping on. You can learn how to do a drop kick. You gotta do the drop kick at the right time, and I think Roxana Perez does that.
Yeah. It's like, I just hate people that are so naturally gifted. It infuriates me because it's like,
you worked hard at it, Sharky. Work hard at it.
But I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, you can work hard at it. You can work hard at it, but like, there are some people that also just have like a natural gift for stuff like this.
He's not a Logan Paul situation.
Like, that's the thing. Like, that's the thing. I'm mad that Logan Paul's as good as he is. I hate it. I hate it so much.
I know.
I kept him off my top 10 for a fucking reason, and that's just spite. Like, he would have been on it. He would have been on it, but I kept him off.
He was one of my honorable mentions, but I'm not going to go into that.
He had no right.
We'll just leave it at that.
He has no right to be that good.
Tragic. That person you don't like is actually good at wrestling.
I hate it.
Roxanne Perez is on my top 5. She is in my top 5 of the top 10 list for that reason. I just think she's naturally gifted, and she is a likable babyface. It comes off very naturally.
She's got
She's probably gonna-
25-ish years left for this.
She
Like
has like 30. She has like what?
25, 30 years before.
30 years left in her career,
Yeah, because that's
and she's that good already.
That's like Trish Stratus and Lita age. I think they're like upper 40s, early 50s now.
Mhm.
And like they're still performing great. So it's like if she keeps this up, I mean, she's here for the next few decades, and the crowd's gonna love it. Like, yeah. Move on to number 4 here.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Bianca Belair. Okay. Just a great year for her. I mean, she was dominant in NXT, and I'm happy that WWE put as much into her as they did. I mean, it's kind of a thing with WWE when it comes to black performers. They're never really going to fully invest in them. It's something that we've seen a lot.
Over and over. Booker T versus Triple H.
It took him longer to pin him than the actual match.
I mean, they did invest. they did invest in Bobby Lashley a little bit, but Bobby Lashley's a fucking tight.
But then it's like when Kofi Kingston wins the title, and it's like, hey, he's not the champion we want, so here's Brock squashing him.
Yeah,
like it's a thing that even if they don't know they're doing it, it is a thing that keeps happening. So the fact that Bianca Belair has been able to be shown as dominant as she is, and Charlotte Flair coming back and getting the other title and not taking it off of Bianca, who they did wrong by having Becky squash her. But then she came back and got the belt off of Becky in a great, kind of, we fucked up. We admit that we fucked up. It's just like the fact that they've let her just be like this, be the main woman on their roster for the Raw title is just, it's great.
Becky Lynch has been one of my favorites forever, but I left her off this list, or I actually just put her as an honorable mention because of that entire year one. I did not like it.
Yeah.
At all.
It's like, but so the fact that she's been able to be as dominant as she is, it just shows that if this is Trips' decision, then he is trusting her a lot, and it's a great position for her to be in.
I have Belair around here too. I have Belair at number 3.
I have her at 2.
Who you got for 4 though, Deca?
Toni Storm.
All the reasons mentioned above.
All the reasons mentioned above. Toni Storm is just great athlete. I would say like not the ace, but like the workhorse.
Yeah, she's definitely the workhorse of the women's division.
Like the best women in your division are always going to be the ones that like kind of like, and you'll see this is a preview for the tag team, but kind of what I like about the Elite is what you're getting out of them every single time they step in the ring.
Yeah.
Every single time. They're flippy, they're entertaining, they do super kicks, they pose, they make fourth wall jokes, and that's what you get every single solitary time. And that's what I like about Toni Storm is she just performs every single time.
Yeah. She's
had banger matches with Thunder Rosa, with Britt, with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, and at the time of us opposing this, I mean, it's her versus Willow Nightingale, I think, tonight. And I can only imagine. Dynamite. And I mean, that also just shows Willow Nightingale's ability. Like, she had that street fight match, and then she's right back into this shit, wrestling Toni Storm like nothing happened.
Yeah.
So definitely, AEW has picked up some workhorse women, and it's great to see that in a division.
Yeah.
Because even if you're not like winning the title, I mean, even if you don't like them, I mean, Tay and Anna Jay, they still wrestle. They still put in the performances. They may be sloppy at times, but they will go out there and do what you need them to do. And it's like, it's great that they're not like in the title pictures or anything, because they can fill that role of, the mid-card women's division.
Yes.
Ty and Anna, I think they just need to get, they
need to get out of the Jericho. They need to get out of the Jericho thing.
They need to get out of the Jericho Appreciation Society. But, Ty and Jay, they've been really hard workers. And I think they need to get, I think they just get shit on more than, people. I don't know why they
You
just
wanna-
shit on them so much.
You want to know? You want to know something? You want to know something really funny? Beside there are 4 women in AEW who look remarkably similar to the point that I get face blind every time I see one of them.
Yeah.
Ty and Anna are 2 of them.
Yeah.
Julia Hart and apparently Marina Shafir. There's some weird like dissonance going on for me.
I can see
that
Anna
they
Jay.
all look.
Yeah, I can see Anna Jay, Tay, and Julia Hart because they are kind of like the same physical size and appearance.
Yeah, they're about the same size. When we mentioned when I was talking about the Marina Shafir promo earlier, I thought it was either Ty or Anna or Julia Hart because I was like, I can't put a face to this person.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the problem. It starts with B, ends in Lond.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Give them different hair colors and just
let them pick their own hair color. Yeah.
Give Julia Hart like gothic black. Give her black hair. I want to see that.
It's so funny because you say that and then I think about it and it's like all the women that they have on their dark matches stand out more in like physical appearances, but like they're none of the main roster people.
The only ones that stand out,
they're all the enhancements talent, and I'm like, all these people have like a good look to them.
The only one that stands out, I'm gonna say this, and everyone's gonna be mad at me. The only one that stands out is Jade Cargill because she's like a foot taller than everyone else, and her ass is always hanging out.
And she hasn't been around, but like Abaddon too. Like she had a great look.
I don't know if it's wig or hair extensions, but them shits look good. Jade Cargill is just a good looking woman. She really is.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, the only other person that stands out as an individual is Abaddon, but she's kind of been missing in action.
He's injured.
Okay.
Abaddon and Nyla Rose have like unique physicalities. Yeah.
Yeah, and Nyla works as in a non-disparaging way. She kind of works as the Nia Jax for the women's division, where it's like when you need that monster to come in that isn't in a title picture, you send Nyla against whoever, and it gives like the babyface like versus monster feel.
Yes.
So everybody fills their role in the division really well, even if they're not like full-time performers like Julia Hart, who is more of a she's part of a group, but she's not like a manager. She's just there, and it adds another dynamic to things.
I would like for them to fill Abaddon on AEW a little more.
Yeah.
I think she's an interesting character.
She really is. I mean, now you got Danhausen, so it's like, okay, we can bring in the weird supernatural stuff again.
Mm-hmm.
Did we get to X who X at number 4 was?
No. I had Thunder Rosa at number 4 for obvious reasons. She just had an incredible 2022 before her injury. She is probably one of the hardest working women in that company, despite all the backstage stuff. We already talked about that, but Thunder Rosa, when she gets out there, she puts on incredible matches and she puts on effort. And I think she was injured for most. I think she had another injury before her back injury, so maybe that hampered her ability in the ring just a little bit. But when she got out there, she just put forth the most effort in these matches, and it's understandable why they gave her the AEW Women's World Championship, because they were going to build her to be like the workhorse in that division. It just so happens that Jamie Hayter came along and just kind of overshadowed that a little bit, but
yeah.
Oh.
But
it happens.
No, I like Thunder Rosa, and I mean, I wish she had a better 2022. But injuries happen and everything all the time.
Yeah.
I wish they would have made a call with the world title better, because I feel like her injury also kind of dampened Toni Storm's stuff a little bit, because she wasn't champion at the time. It was just like, you got to make that's more of like a booking decision. But you're right. I mean, Thunder Rosa, she's a veteran of the industry, and when she goes out there, she knows how to put on a performance and everything. And I don't think in AEW, I don't think I've seen a bad Thunder Rosa match.
I don't think I have either. And
I've seen
maybe there's 1 or 2 here and there, but it doesn't happen that often.
I say this as a certified Thunder Rosa lover. I have seen matches where it it kind of looks like she's going to business for herself.
Yeah, that might be another thing. That might be the backstage problems.
Yeah, it looks
I was talking about that.
looking a little stiff there.
I want to see her do a stiff hit to Jamie Hayter and to Jamie Hayter just to give her a receipt like right off the bat. Like
Just end the match with like 2 black eyes.
it's like, bro, you are hitting an angry British female wrestler. Like you're not going to survive this.
An angry British woman in
They're
general.
built different. Yeah, let's go on to Thunder Rosa is great. I hope that she does come back without the backstage politics issue, and she can just put on bangers with everybody because they have a really good women's roster. It's just a lot of those like top names are currently out, with injuries. My number 3, Rhea Ripley. She's had a great year. I mean, enough said. She's the best part of Judgment Day. She's serious while also comedic with Dom. And I mean, in recent things like seeing her get into the face of, Solo Sikoa, I really want to see that match, and I hope that WWE pulls the trigger on that match and just gives it to us. Like, it would be just great to see. You don't even have to have a definitive winner, like do some kind of DQ finish. I know they don't want to do the whole men versus women thing, but
my one fear with it is that in the eyes of your average, like your rank and file WWE fan, it's gonna make Solo look weaker.
Yeah,
because the average fan is a sexist, racist piece of shit.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, wrestling kind of does feel like a majority white guy sport. So
yeah,
and I mean, back in the origins of it, it's like Southern white guy sport. So
going even further than that, it's like carny shit.
It's like carny. Yeah, it's straight carny shit.
And they bled every single show in those days.
Yep.
It was just so many of those matches where they just fucking bled left and right.
I will say I am glad that I will say that I am glad that wrestling is starting to have these figures though. People like Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill as champions. Like, it's been a long time coming. And I think with Thunder Rosa, she was the first Latin American woman to win a world title in a North American promotion.
At the main event of said North American promotion.
The actual world title in any major US promotion, she was the first Latin America woman. And it's like, I'm glad we're seeing these, developments and everything. And it just feels good to see. And I want more people to, tune into this.
Yes.
They also did it in her hometown, which is like a straight just middle finger to WWE because she would have lost in her hometown. So,
yep. I wish I could have seen it.
Yeah, number 3, Rhea, great year, and I can only see where this is going to go. And number 3 for you, Deck.
Bianca Belair.
Yep.
Much of the same reason. Wonderful year, like fantastic. The only other WWE pick after Bianca Belair is the reason she's not up there for me. I say it as we're at our top 3. Every time Bianca Belair is in the ring cutting a promo, in a match, coming to the ring, all of your attention is focused on her because she does her little hop skip to the ring. She's like whipping her hair, whatever it takes. Like, your eyes are just naturally drawn to her. She has this presence about her. It's not even about character work. It's just natural charisma. It just comes so naturally to her.
She's a great babyface.
She's a wonderful babyface. I thought she was a good heel in NXT, though. I will say that. Using the hair as a foreign weapon.
As a whip, yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was a good gimmick in NXT.
She did the Becky's stomach too in a match, I think too.
Yes.
It was she hit Mercedes Moné with that. Sasha, all this formerly known as Sasha Banks. Her stomach looked like a huge welt across her stomach.
Was Belair's match with what's her name this WrestleMania?
Becky,
yes.
Yeah, that was this WrestleMania.
That was easily one of the best women's matches in
that
WWE.
Was her regaining the title.
Yeah, winning the title back.
Yes, that's easily one of the.
Good.
Yeah.
They gave her a year-long one.
Yeah.
That's one of the best. That is
WWE.
easily one of the best women's matches in WWE in a very long time.
It was a really good match.
Yeah.
It didn't go too long either. I think it was probably like a good 15, 20 minutes.
All you need.
It was just a great match between the two of them. And it was that feel-good moment of redemption after the squash for Bianca to hold that title.
Yes.
So, who you got, X?
I got Jamie Hayter at number 3.
Mhm.
Because for all the reasons you all listed about Jamie Hayter, she is just, a hard hitter. Okay. She has, I don't know if she wrestled in Japan, but I think she has. And she's adapted that style.
I think she was in
along with-
Stardom. I think
Yeah,
she was
in
probably
Stardom.
around
She
the same
has
time
adapted-
Bia was.
Jamie Hayter has adapted the best parts of both British and Japanese wrestling. If you haven't noticed, she is just so good at it. And every one of her match, and when you put her in a match with somebody else who can hit just as hard as she has, you are going to get something fantastic. I think they picked the perfect person to lead this division for a while with Jamie Hayter. Okay, and that's kind of and she's kind of the woman you build your division around. And she could cut decent promos. And she has this kind of, cool demeanor, cool laid back demeanor and all, but she's fucking intimidating. And she has a factor to her that's like, if she punches a dude in the face, she's probably going to lay him out on the ground.
Mhm.
But she looks good doing it.
Yeah.
And
I have Jamie Hayter's number 2 for me.
yeah, she's just a great. She's just great. Okay, and the crowd has gotten behind her recently because they just want to love Jamie Hayter. Okay, they do, and it's understandable, and she's earned it. It's completely understandable why this crowd will get behind her because she's just that good, and she wrestles herself damn near to the point of exhaustion in some of those matches, and she still makes it look good. So yeah, she's had a great year. She had a fantastic 2022.
Yeah, she's a great enforcer. And it's weird because when you think about like the term enforcer in wrestling, it's always the guy helping somebody win a match.
This
is like this is the enforcer being the center of attention in the duo, which I think is also it's another element of that story that it can build up on. Of it's like, oh, you're taking the limelight from Britt Baker now. It's like
Britt Shawn Michaels and she's Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. It's that
exactly
dynamic.
What it is.
On to number 2. I mean, we've talked about her already. I had Willow. It's just been a great debut, and just like a great debut and rapid like rise to the top of fans. And I mean, I love watching her wrestle. I love everything about her. I love the Twitter post where she calls Eddie Kingston Edward, and she's the only one that's allowed to do so. So I really like the out of like ring stuff with her and some of the guys who are like the tough guys. And it's like just she can expose like the soft side and everything. I just want to see where she goes from here. Like I love it as like a kind of just new face on the scene. She's probably been wrestling in other companies, the smaller indies, but she's like finally in like the public's view, and I want to see where she can go with that.
Yeah.
And who you got for 2?
I have Jamie Hayter. Like all the mentions, all the reasons we mentioned above. Just overall wonderful talent.
Yeah.
Great in the ring. Pretty good enough on promos. Here's the secret: you don't actually have to be amazing at promos. You just have to get your point across.
Yeah. You just have to be passable.
Yeah, you only have to be passable. Like the bar is in hell for American promos.
Yeah. The bar is literally in hell.
So as long as you can get your point across, promote the next pay-per-view, you're doing great. And Jamie Hayter does really good at those.
Yeah, as long as you can build anticipation.
Yes. And I think her character work is also pretty good, as like y'all said, the enforcer role, but also kind of doing the Sami Zayn where she's like taking the spotlight away from Britt Baker, and it's gonna come to a head at some point.
Yeah, and it's not going to be a Kevin Steen El Generico rivalry, but I can definitely see the Jamie Hayter Britt Baker being like a long-standing story in AEW. Like even years down the line, it's like they are still the people who will eventually start going at it again.
Yeah.
So, who you got, X?
I got Bianca Belair at number 2. You know, we talked about Bianca Belair in depth so far on some of the throughout this episode, and Bianca Belair does have a charm to her. Okay, she can go out there. She still feels fresh, even after I don't know how many days as champion. 300 some odd days.
If she got at WrestleMania, that's almost a year now, I think.
Almost a year now, because we're coming up on WrestleMania season. We're right at the Royal Rumble, so she's been champion almost a year, and yet it never felt like she's tapered off a bit, not even once. Bianca just keeps she's ultra charismatic, and she is, again, charisma and stage presence. She wraps it up as this nice little bundle, and I get it, and sometimes a lot of people tend to shit on black women as wrestlers because they seem to have the similar gimmicks to each other. But no, I just think that that's just a superficial take on it.
Okay,
Bianca Belair.
You say it's racist.
Yeah, that's very racist and superficial in some ways. And I know we throw that term around a lot, but in this case, I'm just going to say it's superficial. Bianca Belair has some depth to her. Sometimes she comes off super tough. Sometimes she comes off funny as hell in promos. And she has a great range to her that she can just make it all work in this nice little bundle. Okay. She can throw on, and she obviously is good in the ring. She throws on incredible matches. Okay. Like one of the best women's matches of 2022 was that match with Becky at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And her and Becky just work together so well because they can get really serious and then they can get really comedic at the same time.
Yeah.
So, and make it work.
Have y'all seen the side by side of Bianca and Alexa with Scary Movie?
Oh yeah, it did. Their match had a bunch of scary movie things, especially like holding the head back and like Alexa swinging. They just did they did the fight of her. It's like, this bitch is coming out of your TV.
This week you can tell two people are friends in real life outside the ring. Okay, because they both love that shit.
Yeah.
Has anybody done that to Alexa, like holding just the head back because she's like shorter than them? Or is that just only Belair who can do that because of the actual like height difference between the two of them?
I think it's a little bit of both. But also Alexa Bliss is like 5'1", so
yeah.
I think a lot of the women
Small.
can feasibly do that.
I looked up Bianca's title reign is currently at 289 days.
So almost 300 days as champion.
And it's wild too. I mean, she debuted in 2016, so less than a decade under her belt, and like this is the level she can perform at.
It's only gonna get better.
It's only going to get better. She's 33. She still has, years ahead of her too.
She has plenty of time left. She's still in her prime.
She is, and I mean, they're building a division around her, and I mean, more than likely they're going to. Knowing WE, the belt's going to go back on to Alexa with the storyline, most likely. And then there'll be whatever feud carries over. But I can see her being a constant in the Raw women's title picture. Especially if they keep Charlotte on SmackDown, so they can kind of keep those separate. Because those seem like the two people they want to keep putting the belts on. At least as the years go on. I can see those two being the go-to, champions. Maybe Raquel, maybe Raquel Rodriguez. I don't know. Like they seem pretty high on her. They seem pretty high on her too. So
I would love to see her on that list.
Yeah,
I would have them build Raquel back up a little bit. I just want her to be, the monster she was in NXT. Babyface or heel, she was intimidating and destructive.
She had really good matches with who was it? Rhea Ripley, I believe.
Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai.
Yeah.
Incredible matches with those two.
I think that's something that the women division needs too. I think we need more like style clashing. We need these more like powerhouse women and then like the agile like high flyers and then the technical wrestlers. Like, I just love seeing those styles clash. And most of the time they can bring out, you know, the best in each other a lot of the time if that chemistry is there. But yeah, Raquel is definitely high on Triple H's radar. I know she's like one of his, you know, wrestlers. He has his like short list of his guys. And I think she's definitely on that. Moving on to the final ones for us for this episode. My number one is Jamie Hayter. Just had that breakout year. And it's weird because I think at the end of 2021, when she came back to help Britt win the title, nobody knew who she was. I remember on Twitter, it's like, who is this Becky Lynch wannabe? You know, like, because they had like a very similar look when she came back, and over the course of a year to becoming this, you know, it's like, oh, they now know who Jamie Hayter is. And it's that thing is like, she's gone from unknown to enforcer to champion in like a year, and it's just been a very natural progression to it. It's how you win over people. You win over the fans. And you get people behind you. And like I said, I can only hope this feud, any feud with her and Baker, blows up, because I'm ready for that. But I'll take her putting on bangers with other female wrestlers just as often as they want to give it to us. So.
Correct.
And who you got for number one, Deca?
All right. I have a faction number one. I have Damage Control, just all of Damage Control.
Okay.
From SummerSlam, from Bayley coming back, and just sitting
three
there.
Returns.
The three returns at once. One of which, you hear the commentary. I didn't even know she was contracted with Dakota Kai.
Yeah, because we didn't. Like,
I think that SummerSlam crowd had sensory overload from those three, returns.
Yeah. They cheered for Bayley, and then they're like, "Wait, what? Wait, what?"
She teased. It's like, I'm not here alone. And then Dakota Kai's name hit, and then Io Shirai's name hit.
It was sensory overload. I loved it.
It was definitely like synaptic static all over the place. But yeah, I just think like they've kind of petered out since winning the tag titles, losing them, and then winning them again. I believe
that was an early misstep that I think did hurt a lot of the momentum. It's like, we're champions, we're not champions. We're champions again.
Yeah.
But I mean, even in recent weeks, it's become the Bayley Becky picture again, and I think it kind of sucks for Dakota and Io, because it's like, okay, you're playing second fiddle to the main feud that we've had for years again.
I'm interested to see if these two go their separate ways from Bayley at some point, because they've teased it in promos a few times, so they're thinking about it. But it's only and it's probably only a matter of time before it actually happens.
WWE doesn't keep factions together for too long, unless they make them a lot of money.
WWE is also incapable of doing subtlety. It has to hit you in the face.
Yeah, it's like, what is subtle?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Damage Control, I mean, great debut at SummerSlam, and yeah, they've just been a constant fixture on the scene, and it's been great to see. I mean, Io Shirai, I feel like WWE is sleeping on her like they did with Kairi a lot. Like, once they hit the main roster, it's like, what do we do with this woman who's known for doing fucking the best moonsault in the female division? Just letting her...
Well, if you're the only one doing the moonsault, that's not really saying much, but continue.
I mean, she does it so clean. And I'm like, just give me more where she can just be a high flyer.
I don't think she does. I think it's actually kind of like, I guess I'm a little bit of a snob when it comes to moonsaults, because like my favorite moonsault was Jimmy Wang Yang's, because he got a lot of hang time, and then it also like it hit right every time.
You just unlocked a fucking memory with that name.
You're welcome.
Ultimo Dragon for me, man, because he just had like one of the cleanest moonsaults.
He had a really good. He had a moonsault named after him.
I I haven't heard the name Jimmy Wang Yang in fucking years.
The only thing I remember of Jimmy Wang Yang is that cowboy gimmick.
The cowboy hat. Yeah, he was the ambassador. He was the ambassador of American and Asian relations.
Right.
It's just like that was just one of those acts in the Ruthless Aggression era that people just kind of was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember his promo where it was like, I ain't got no yeller in me. It's all redneck. I'm like, oh god, they made him say that.
Yep. But he said it.
Yeah.
He went out there and he did it.
He sure did.
But as far as Ultimo Dragon goes, that was my first wrestling event in '97 when I was 15 years old, going to WCW Monday Nitro, and watching that dude hit a moonsault live, it was just amazing. You know, it changed me. It changed my viewpoint of how people do that stuff. Because they're like, he does it like he just bounces straight up and flips in the air and just comes down in like a perfect arch. And you just can't beat that.
Yeah. I mean,
and Io does it similar to him. And that's just why I think he kind of has the best moonsault in pro wrestling at the moment. Because it's so close to Ultimo's.
I think the best is like where it doesn't even look like they jump. They just like leave the turnbuckle in like the flip.
Yeah.
Opposite end of that spectrum, worse moonsault. Can we not have Brock Lesnar do another one? He killed his neck. Like,
yeah.
Ever since that moonsault, he hasn't had a neck.
That was supposed to be a shooting star press.
That's fair, but ever since he hit that, he hasn't had a neck. Like,
right. Yeah, I've noticed that.
It's just been absorbed into the shoulder muscles. All right, X, who you got number one to?
Rhea Ripley, for the simple fact that when she started the year, she went through so many progressions in 2022. You know, she started out, I mean, she was coming off a year where she was Raw Women's Champion for a while and then lost it. I think who was it? Charlotte.
Yeah, it was probably the Charlotte feud.
Coming into 2022, you know, she had that tag team with Liv Morgan, you know, and that was.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
That's
the one thing that people seem to forget. She came from that. You know, Rhea Ripley, they just kind of lost direction with her. But then, like in the middle of the year, she turned heel joined the Judgment Day, and it just went to the moon with her. Okay, she just became a human highlight reel. Okay, she's beating Dominic up every week. Has people talking. She put Dominic in like a leg chokehold, like a leg what was it, leg scissors, and the turnbuckle. That's the only time I've seen her do that in 2022. That went viral. Body slamming Luke Gallows, Doc Gallows. Yeah, that was a highlight reel. Convincing Dominic to turn on Ray and Edge, the Clash at the Castle, and then pretty much helping Dominic build his character into something that has low-key become one of the best things on Raw with Prison Dom. You know, from that progression to where he is right now, it's just amazing.
I feel some kind of way about Prison Dom, and it's not good.
It's not good. It's funny. I know, but it's funny.
It is entertaining.
It's entertaining at best.
I feel dirty laughing.
It's like she has just been a gift to WWE and the Judgment Day this year. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, and she has done all of this stuff this year without even winning a championship.
Yeah, so like she's doing all this without any like main title focus on her. This is just like character work.
Title focus. It's just character work and just beating people relentlessly. Okay, and she's still a strong character and strong wrestler in the ring at the same time. And I just appreciate everything Rhea Ripley is doing in 2022. And I don't know. That's why I put her at number one, despite not winning any championships.
She's in a unique spot too, because a lot of the times when you get a faction like this, the female wrestler is usually a manager. She's an active performer, so like they have the Rhea Ripley problem, as they call it, where it's like, how are they going to handle her? Because nobody wants to, hit her or anything, but she is like a force to be reckoned with on the other team.
And the best part is she just leans into that. Okay, she knows nobody's gonna hit her, so she's like, I mean, come on, Like
the
it's
club
fucking
had
great.
to call in Mia Yim to try to handle Rhea Ripley because they could not. She's in such a unique place in her faction and in the feuds that they've been in. It's
and
just
it's believable.
it's
She
believable.
makes this all believable. Okay, she's that much of a menace in WWE right now on Raw.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and I can only hope to see like the evolution of it because hopefully there is an evolution of it and it's not just the, same thing for the next however many feuds they go through.
I mean, she did beat Akira Tozawa on Raw recently.
Akira Tozawa coming back and stealing JBL's hat. I think he's found his spot in WWE again as like the comedy wrestler because Tozawa has no right to be that funny. No. But he does it so effortlessly. And I'm thinking about it and I'm like, this is a guy who tag teamed with Kevin Owens on the Indies. Like, and now he's just like stealing JBL's cowboy hat and carrying on the spirit of Jimmy Wang Yang.
That's who he kind of reminds me of now.
But
full circle.
Full circle. But yeah, great list from everybody. I mean, we had a lot of the same names, just different places. For a lot of the same reasons, I guess it's just kind of weighed separately for a lot of us.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I wasn't sure how to weigh the women, to be honest, because like the ones that are standout are going to be 1, 2, and 3. Like, and we proved that by our 1, 2, and 3 being almost identical. I had a cop out and put a faction there, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
those were the biggest 3 for me this year, because those were the ones that whenever I watched women's wrestling in any promotion, those were the 3 that stood out right then and there. I was like, oh, okay. Even when I went to AEW and WWE live twice, they've been the standouts. That's the people everybody wanted to see. They're pretty much the forefront of these women's wrestling right now.
Yeah, and I think when we were talking about this, I think we even agreed that, the women's list would be probably weighed a little differently, considering how differently they're often treated in the promotions. But yeah, so that's part 2. And the next episode is going to be the fun one because it's the tag teams. And
I think our tag team list is actually the most varied out of all of ours.
Yeah, I think we'll have some crossover, but I do think we have a lot of tag teams. There's a lot of tag teams in wrestling nowadays.
Remember when there weren't a lot of tag teams in wrestling?
Looking at mine,
that was like 2 years ago.
What's funny about mine is that I'm looking at mine, and this is tag team, but I think most of these, because of how wrestling is now, I think most of these are trios. So, but yeah,
it could be tag team slash.
You're not wrong.
It could be tag team slash.
I'm looking at my list, and I'm like, that's a lot of trios I have on that list.
You're not wrong.
But yeah. So we are going about an hour and a half now, so won't keep the viewers here much longer. Thank you guys for hanging out on this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the list. We'd love to hear in the comments if you guys had any thoughts about women's wrestlers. Like we said, we don't watch every promotion all the time, and I know that there's a ton of smaller indies out there. Maybe there's a star-making performance that people just haven't seen yet. I mean, I wish I could watch more Stardom, but I don't, and I know that is a whole roster of women who would kick each other's ass on free TV. So it's definitely I'm glad to see that there is improvements though. Like we're not in that weird era of 15 years ago, It was there's a weird period too when it got into the PG era where they didn't do bra and panties matches, so the sex appeal's gone, but they didn't do anything else either. Yeah, it wasn't until Bella and AJ Lee and Paige and everybody came in where we started getting actual like in-ring performances.
It was back when NXT was, like a seasonal TV show right after on Tuesday nights, I believe. It was like right after they got rid of ECW. That's kind of where it started because NXT season 3 was all women. And that was the season when they had AJ Lee and Naomi on there.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let us know what you guys thought about these lists. If you have a list of your own, we'd love to see it. And next week, if we can't get an episode recorded, You all will see part 3 on Friday, but if not, you'll see part 3 on Monday. So some double episodes potentially if you guys want your fix of wrestling and us. Anybody have anything else to say?
That's it. Go watch. Well, you're not. Go watch Rampage. That's what I'll say. Go watch Rampage.
This comes out at 3 o'clock on a Friday. Go watch Rampage tonight. I'm pretty sure the card's banger. So
go back and watch Dynamite somehow after that. You know.
Yeah. I like how the schedule stagger out because you could watch SmackDown and then watch Dynamite or Rampage or vice versa. So you can get double the dose of wrestling. So
2 different promotions.
Different promotions.
3 hours, 2 promotions, 1 night.
Well, yeah. As always, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to the channel, we would greatly appreciate that. And if you want more variety and stuff, check out Dummies D20s, where we're playing D&D 5th edition with a modified rule set right now, and we'll be moving on to other campaigns.
Naruto.
It's Naruto.
It's Naruto.
It's Naruto. It's run by our good friend Kevin, and it's a great campaign. And yeah, go back and watch some of the back episodes where we talk about wrestling. I know we had a episode that got a good response about the whole CM Punk situation from a long time ago. You can hear our thoughts on that. Might be bad in retrospect, but who knows? And yeah, I think that'll be it. So thank you guys for joining us on this episode, and we'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.